On my way home from work in 2017, I had my first near-death experience. My position as gate security at the shipyard required me to do double shifts, which I had just completed. Due to the increased importance of this matter, following the events of September 11th, the primary task was to verify the identity of everyone coming into and going out of the shipyard. It wasn't hard for me. On a daily basis, I would get out of bed, head to the office, and after work, relax with a movie or some outdoor time with my dog. I never set foot in a house of worship because I never believed in anything. Because I was coerced into going to church as a kid, I've always rebelled against pastors who insisted that I believe everything they stated simply because it was in a book. I had already begun to question numerous parts of the Bible by the time I was 15 years old, using logic and evidence. Consequently, I was of the firm belief that death signified the end of existence on that particular day in 2017. As I drove home, you vanished into thin air the moment you passed away. There is no way I was more incorrect. I was also guilty of texting while driving, despite knowing it was dangerous and against the law in most states. But it didn't bother me. Since the government wasn't footing the price for my cell phone, I felt free to do whatever I wanted with it. I was very rebellious when that was happening. I got a text message on the way home that day, and as I read it, I dropped my phone. I stepped on the phone, and it landed on the floor. My hand instinctively went for my phone. The accident happened because I couldn't take my gaze off the road for even a split second. Afterwards, eyewitnesses said that I ran over the yellow line and into oncoming traffic, which caused a head-on crash with a Volvo. I was locked inside the car, still hunched down, trying to grab my phone, because the impact was that bad. In addition to the excruciating agony, I could feel a dampness on my neck, face, and head. It seems like the sirens were already blaring before the world went dark. Don't remember ever floating above my body or feeling like I was leaving it. Consider the darkest place you've ever been in, and then double it by 10. That's how completely black everything became. The events were playing out exactly as I had anticipated, and I was aware that my time on Earth was limited. I was experiencing a final shutdown of my brain and body. I was overcome with a profound sensation of tranquility. The agony had vanished. It was okay with me. I knew I was dying. Suddenly, light emerged. It seemed tiny and far away at first, but it came racing up on me. Or maybe I was running toward it. I'm not sure. Soft breeze started to caress me as the dawn grew closer. I began to feel welcomed, engulfed by an incredible emotion of pure love. As I approached the light, or it came to me. Simply put, it defies description. The love beyond any I had ever experienced emanated from this light, which had now grown to huge proportions. The light informed me that I was about to go through a life evaluation through telepathic communication. The next stage is hard to describe since it involves staring at a screen that replayed my entire existence. There were times when the light went out, and I had to face the fact that my decisions had consequences for others around me, both in the here and now and in the future. The next thing I knew, I was interrogated about potential alternate decisions. There were many examples where the choices I made resulted in emotional and even bodily suffering for others around me. The people whose lives I had touched had to put themselves in my shoes at those times, and I had to feel their suffering. It seemed as if the light shone down on the parts of my life where I was the worst. I was inconsolable by the time my life evaluation came to a close. Then it was like an information download. All this knowledge was suddenly available to me. The solution was obvious as soon as I formulated a query. My first inquiries were really simple. Would the light be God? I was informed that it wasn't. And when would the world end? I was informed that neither they nor anybody else knew. I chose to be totally forthright after giving some thought to my life review before to asking my following question. I posed the question, am I going to hell? It was a surprising response. "You have not yet reached the end of your journey," the light said. "You have the option of starting anew on your quest for knowledge or returning to Earth to complete your journey." "Do you mean reincarnation?" "Why?" I asked. "Many people have used that term. Until you discover the initial objective you set for yourself, your journey will go on in some form or another. You have the option to either turn around or begin again." Multiple lifetimes was an idea that I found perplexing. On Earth, I used to think that once you died, your existence ended, but now I'm hearing that there's a possibility of reincarnation. Have I lived other lives? I sounded out the light. "I think so." "Are you interested in seeing a few of them?" "Please," I responded. I was able to see 3 separate lives I'd lived pop up on screen at the same time. At one of them, I had a job as a seamstress at a fancy boutique in a big European city, but I got the flu and died. In another, I played the role of a Chinese soldier who was brutally executed for dozing off while on duty. I had also farmed in America, where I had raised a big family and lived a long, healthy life before peacefully passing away from old age. During these screenings of prior lifetimes, I could fast forward and rewind, studying certain features of these lives as their memories were downloaded into my mind at the same time. There was no such thing as time on the other side, so I have no idea how long I spent viewing these previous lives. The light told me that when I got back, I would forget most of the details, and that was definitely the case. "What if I want to stay here?" asked the light when it finally asked my preference. Afterwards, I was informed that in order to proceed, I needed to finish my objective. Here we shall refer to this higher power as God for the purpose of argument. It seems I had an agreement with them. Prior to reaching the next level, which could be heaven, a soul must complete the objectives it has set for itself. It was my decision to get back to Earth and try to re-establish my faith. Following my life review, I vowed to be more considerate of other people's feelings and to give serious thought to all of my choices. As soon as I decided to go back, I was right back in my body, going through all that agony again. So that your visitors don't get bored, I will spare them the specifics of my near-death experience beyond this point. Finally, during my rehabilitation, nothing out of the ordinary happened. My psychic and healing powers have not returned, but now that I know the truth, I believe in reincarnation and the afterlife. I will continue to watch your videos if you keep making high-quality ones. Thank you for sending this in, Brett. That concludes Brett's experience. All of this makes us question whether this is the real meaning of reincarnation. That every one of us has a purpose in this life and is compelled to return and try again until we achieve that purpose. What are the opinions of those around me? Post a comment telling us what you think. God bless you and keep you safe until the next video.